Welcome to Child Abuse Awareness with Darlene J. Clark.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Child Abuse Awareness with Darlene J. Clark. Be a part of the solution instead of part of the problem. Hello, our bucket list. Hi, sis. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Hello, Jackie. Good to see you too, sis. Lots of love. Want to make sure everyone please hit the thumbs up. And if you pass it on to somebody, please ask them to make sure to hit the thumbs up just for the fact that the stories need to be out there, okay? The more thumbs up, the more the algorithm will see it as a necessary story that needs to be out there, okay? But all those ones that don't get thumbs up, it's not going to be out there as much. So please help me get my stories out there and the stories of other people as well. I say God bless y'all. See, there's 5 arrested in Pawley'S Island church school investigation. And it also opens up an old investigation, as we will find out here. Let me know how y'all are doing today. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is the use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips a balance in favor of fair use. So y'all people that wants to strict me and say it's not copywritten, that it's copywritten, it's not copywritten, okay? So I'm doing it under fair use. So stop causing trouble. Okay, Isaiah 1:17, learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed, take up the cause of the fatherless, and plead the case of the widow. It's a trigger warning. There'll be trigger warning for some of us. Okay, it said somebody else. Okay. So, with this little story, it's pretty intriguing. Okay, so let me go to for arrest. It's the one I want to go to. So let me get it over here. There's 4 arrested in a church sex offender case. Remember one I told y'all about a church locally that was letting sex offender go there, and he was out in the open way, and I was the only one who saw him going like that, trying to pat a little girl on the butt, like she's about 3 or 4 or 5 years old. I seen her dress move, so I'm not sure if he actually touched her buttock or what, but he got too close anyway, right? So here is Don Williams, 4 arrested church sex offender case. This is not the sex offender, but in a few minutes, I'll show you who the sex offender. July the 20th, 2026, Jennifer Nikki Howard, former director of Pawley'S Island Christian Academy, has turned herself in at the Georgetown County Detention Center. The 4th person to be arrested in conjunction with the ongoing investigation into the Pawley'S Island Community Church. Okay, hold on a minute. My alarm's going off. Thank you. She is charged with, okay, let's start all over. She is the 4th person to be arrested in conjunction with the ongoing investigation into the Pawley'S Island Community Church. She is charged with obstruction, criminal conspiracy, along lawfully placing a child at risk or causing a child harm. Jennifer Nikki, let me show you down here. This is her down here with the blonde hair. Jennifer Nikki Howard. Okay. She is charged with obstruction, criminal conspiracy, unlawfully placing a child at risk, or causing a child harm. Earlier today, Pastor Don Williams and his wife, former church administrator Jenny Williams, were arrested in Somerville and extradited back to Georgetown County. The fourth arrestee, convicted sex offender Warren Perry, was arrested in Georgetown. All three are charged with criminal conspiracy and obstruction, and Don Williams has an additional charge of unlawfully placing a child at risk or causing a child harm. The church has been under investigation for a week after a concerned parent alleged that a convicted sex offender was volunteering there in close proximity to children. The sheriff's office notified South Carolina Probation, Pardon, and Parole, which is jurisdiction over Perry, and began its own investigation into how church leaders allowed a convicted sex offender on a campus with a daycare and school. Here is the sex offender right there, Warren Perry. Yeah, they say, he did not get close to the children, though. Who wants to call BS on that? Who wants to call BS that, we know better than that he's not watched 24/7, right? So here we got, this guy's already got people standing up for him. But the problem is, you might stand up for him, but look at his title here. Sheriff Carter Weaver announces the arrest of Michael Anthony Fields in the ongoing investigation into Pawley'S Island Community Church. Fields is charged with unlawfully placing a child at risk or causing a child harm. He served as a director of operations. So, yes, he was higher up there, so he's just as liable since he's with the director of operations missions at the church and was responsible for the security of the entire campus and the safety of the students of the Pawley'S Island Christian Academy. He was booked into the Georgetown County Detention Center and scheduled for a bond hearing at 9 a.m. tomorrow, July the 30th, at the Georgetown County Magistrate's Office. Said in the third week of its investigation into how church leadership allowed convicted sex offenders proximity on campus and close proximity to children for 4 years. 4 years as the investigation has widened, partners from the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, SLED, Internet Crimes Against Children, ICAC, Task Force, and D. Norton Child Advocacy Center, the Children's Recovery Center, the Attorney General's Office, the South Carolina Department of Social Services, DSS, and the South Carolina Department of Probation, Pardon, and Parole have been instrumental in moving different facets forward. At this time, the Sheriff's Office and its partners are continuing the investigation through interviews and examination of forensic digital evidence extracted from devices utilized by church leaders. Specialized forensic interviews have been conducted by the Children's Recovery Center with students who may not have been victims of a criminal act while at PICA. These interviews have not resulted in any findings of criminal sexual conduct to date. Perry was arrested on July the 20th, and his South Carolina probation, pardon, and parole hearing was held this morning. He was found in violation of probation, and his case was bound over to General Sessions. Former church pastor Don Williams, church administration Jenny Williams, and former PICA director Jennifer Nikki Howard were all arrested later on July the 20th. They are charged with obstruction, criminal conspiracy, and unlawfully placing a child at risk or causing a child harm. The investigation continues. Any parents or children who attended PICA, anyone who feels they may have been victimized, or anyone else with information about this case are encouraged to call 843-546-5114 5102. Again, the number is 843-546-5102. Hey, Peggy, good to see you too. Now, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Okay, get this back up again. I hate how the screen keeps messing up. I'm sorry. So here we go to share the next thing. So this is where the church administrator arrested in Pawley'S Island church investigation, July the 24th. That was the wife right there. Weaver announced that Jenny Williams, John Williams' wife, has been charged again with unlawfully placing a child at risk or causing a child harm. Man, if they did it for every child that was in that school, oh man, how many would that be, right? According to the sheriff's office, the charge stems from investigative findings that had not been verified last week, but had since been confirmed through multiple witness statements. Wow. And you see right here, that's what we'll get to in a few minutes, right? The sheriff's office said the charge applies when a person in a supervisory role who is responsible for a child's welfare engages in acts or omissions that present a substantial risk that sexual offense will be committed against the child. Investigators said Williams held a supervisory role at Pawley's Island Community Church and also oversaw operations at Pawley's Island Christian Academy. Williams was arrested Friday morning and booked into the Georgetown County Detention Center. A bond hearing is scheduled for 3 p.m. at the Georgetown County Magistrate Office, which it did.
Court. My client's 58 years old. She's been married 27 years. She's lived in our area since 1999. She has no record. She's a college graduate. She has children and grandchildren, Your Honor. In this case, I want the court to be aware that this is not a new incident. This is all related to the original incident. Her husband was charged with all three of these offenses. She was charged with 2, and now she's got a maximum warrant. So this is all the same incident. I don't believe that she was run about the new bond law. Your Honor, we believe that all of this should have done the same incident this past week. It was Tuesday, Your Honor. In this case, there was a new warrant that was drafted. Law enforcement reached out to me. We agreed yesterday that she would turn herself in this morning for the 9 a.m. bond hearing. She turned herself in this morning. We got a call saying that the bond hearing will be held over the afternoon to give media notice. So she sat in jail for the extra 3 hours so that media could be present and be noticed. She turned herself in again, as we were trying to do the first time, without the need and expense of taxpayer money from 50 Homeland Security agents going to her home or her family's home, just as she was going to do the first time. She's not a flight risk, Your Honor. Clearly, she turned herself in. She has no record. Your Honor, she has a bond.
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. You go like this and you try to defend the predator. Sorry, I'm not going there, right? So I'll be right back in a few minutes. I need to go I'll be right back. So please bear with me a minute. All right. And hi, Eric and Danielle, that y'all's over there in the other area. Trying to get this. Okay, let's see. So let me play this music till I come back, okay? I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Thanks for holding down the fort, everybody. Okay, so let's get to the next news. Please say if you're still here or not. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. So let's go ahead and say they want answers, right? This is a culprit right there. This is outside of the church. Thanks to ABC4 News. We give them credit where credit is due. Another civil lawsuit has been filed against the Pawley'S Island Community Church. This comes after several lawsuits filed last week on the church being accused of allowing registered sex offender Warren Perry to volunteer and to be around children. Attorney Randy Hood describes this as one of the most unbelievable cases ever covered. Hood is representing a family with a child who is just 5 years old who attended the Pawley's Island Christian Academy. They're suing on multiple grounds, including institutional negligent hiring and retention, deceptive representations about child safety, breach of contract, and violations of South Carolina Unfair Trade Practices Act. Everybody thinks, oh, they're out of money. They're out of money. I've been doing this for 34 years. I'm telling you right now, they want answers, and most people do, Hood said. The more interested in the answer than they are in the resolution. From a monetary perspective, they're looking for what does occur. Why did this occur? Who's responsible for them? He said after this goes through the litigation process, a jury will have to decide these issues. Hood said they've been talking with multiple people from PICC, and we can expect to see more lawsuits filed in the coming days. Y'all get her done. Every one of y'all, please let every one of you have a lawsuit just for your child, so you speak up for your child, right? He said the community needs to be diligent, pay attention, and protect those who are vulnerable. Amen to that. Thank you, parents, for caring, right? Y'all give a thumbs up. You're still here? Good. I'll look at this. Thank you. Okay, so this is we already know there's 5 arrests, so we don't need to go over that one again. There's just different news articles on it. But listen right here. Pay attention to this right here. This is interesting. So the sheriff's office reopens a 2022 child abuse probe after Pawley's Island Church lawsuit. This is 2026, y'all. But they're reopening. Georgetown County, South Carolina, the Georgetown County Sheriff's Office, GCSO, that's Sheriff's Office, is taking a second look at a 2022 child sexual abuse investigation after a new lawsuit was filed against Pawley's Island Community Church and Pawley's Island Christian Academy. This is thanks to WPDE.com. A 2022 incident reported from the GCSO details an allegation involving a 5-year-old child on the campus. The sheriff's office said the case was referred by the South Carolina Department of Social Services in August of 2022 and was fully investigated at the time. They call it fully investigated. Investigators said they were unable to develop enough evidence to obtain a search warrant after forensic interviews were conducted. Excuse me, if a child says they've been violated, why can you not get a search warrant, right? There was not enough evidence to obtain a search warrant. So guess what? That little girl or little boy who was saying that they were sexually violated by somebody in that church. Yeah, because y'all didn't have enough evidence to obtain a search warrant. Wow. Not even by just by the kid's word, even even though that the child South Carolina Department of Social Services got involved. I think y'all got plenty of reason to have done a warrant, right? When Social Services gets involved, you know dang well there's going to be more. GCSO said that out of an abundance of caution, investigators are reviewing the case again. Official added that there is not suggestion the review will lead to a different outcome, but wants to examine every possible lead thoroughly. Stop believing these culprits. Some of the times a person still does not have the DNA evidence on them. That does not mean it did not freaking happen, you bozos. How would you like it if your kid come to you and there's no evidence? I bet you would move hell or high water to make sure that person is prosecuted. But this person isn't related to you, so y'all not making sure that the person is prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. What's wrong, people? Come on. Get real. We are tired of all these kids being victimized and y'all doing nothing. Or they get a slap on the wrist. Sorry. How many other kids was probably violated and too afraid to tell? How many, y'all? The Georgetown County Sheriff's Office is aware of a lawsuit against the Pawley'S Island Community Church and its leaders stemming from an incident in 2022 in which a 5-year-old child at Pawley'S Island Christian Academy told his parents he had been sexually abused while on the church campus. The alleged incident was forwarded to the Georgetown County Sheriff's Office from the Department of Social Services in August of 2022. And it was investigated fully. I wouldn't say investigated fully if y'all did not get a search warrant. So don't say it's investigated fully. Come on now. We know better than that. Nothing of evidentiary value was shared during Forensic Children's Recovery Center interviews to allow us to secure a search warrant. Oh, it wasn't enough that, she stipulated that she had been sexually abused? That's not enough of a search warrant? Excuse me. However, out of an abundance of caution, this case is being reviewed and included in the current investigation into the Pawley'S Island Community Church. We're not stating that a different outcome. We are just running down all avenues of investigation thoroughly. As we move forward, as a reminder, Warren Perry was not classified as a sex offender in 2023. Okay. So it leads me to wonder, even though he wasn't classified as a sex offender in 2023, could it have been him in the 2022 case at the time? Could it have been? If it wasn't him, which member of the church was it, right? If it was not Warren Perry, who was it? What other person needs to go to jail and be registered as a sex offender? We're tired of y'all setting them free. They're not being rehabilitated. We know that. The investigation comes after former pastor Don Williams, his wife Jenny, and Academy director Jennifer Nikki Howard were arrested for allegedly allowing a registered sex offender, Warren Perry, to volunteer around children for years. Perry remains in custody at the Georgetown County Detention Center after a judge denied him bond on Tuesday. Well, thank you for denying him bond, but don't you think it's a little bit too late? Y'all going ahead and giving him bond where this could happen? It's a little too late now. A lot of damage has been done. So what are y'all going to do now after the case goes? Are you going to go ahead and give him a bond again? After the case, are you going to go ahead and let him get out of jail again? Y'all people don't, and I better not hear the fact that y'all say that y'all went ahead at the full extent of the law, gave him, the whatever jail term. That's bull crap, because a lot of people, you do not give them the maximum amount. So don't you dare claim the full extent of the law. We've had it. We're tired of BS lies, okay? I got a lot of followers here, and a lot of people will agree with me. They're tired of it too. It's sick and twisted. And I'll stick up for our kids. This should have never happened. I want to say thank y'all so much, and God bless y'all. I'm sorry if I get irate, but I will be irate for our children, right, y'all? We're wondering who that predator was in 2022, who that girl who violated that boy, right? In the same church. Who was the culprit? We want to know who was the one that she claimed did it. Was it one of these, or was it somebody else? We want to know, we deserve to know, and the public deserves to know. Why are you coming for the predators? Riddle me that, Batman. Okay? Well, thank y'all so much. Pretty soon we're going to have a panel. We're going to have about 3 or 4 different people in the panel, and we're going to discuss, the kids going back to school and some of the things that happens to the kids. Is school a safe place for somebody? Is that where it's going to be the first time they get a meal, perhaps? Was it their safe place, right? Or was school? Are they getting bullied at school, or are they getting? What's going on with school with our kids today? What is really happening? What can we do to try to open our eyes and stick up for the kids at school, right? Even though we might not have a kid at that school or whatever, we're still going to stick up for the kids. Thank y'all all, and God bless y'all. We're going to call it Schools in Session, okay, y'all?